In a competitive market, how do we find real estate deals? Finding motivated sellers is a great way to try to land a good deal. But how do we find these motivated sellers? One of the ways is by looking for sale by owner properties. These homes are listed by the seller themselves, which is a clear indicator they want to sell right now. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the For Sale by Owner Streamlit app, a quick tool to review for sale by owner properties and contact information. My name is Ariel Herrera, your fellow data scientist at Tech and Real Estate channel, where we bridge the gap between real estate and technology. If you enjoy these data apps, then like this video so I know to make more content like it. Let's get started. One of the biggest questions I get from investors is how do I find for sale by owner properties? Now, I have videos how to actually find these properties and how to even programmatically get them in Python. For this particular video, we're actually going to analyze these deals rather than just gathering them. I've done a quick Streamlit app to assess for sale by owner properties across 50 different cities. You can access this app using the link below. This is hosted on Streamlit, which is a free, quick way to share data apps. So instead of me sharing a clunky spreadsheet with you, I'm able to quickly use Python to create this app so I could share more of my work. For those 50 cities that we're reviewing, they're curated by coffee closers. You can look at each of these cities, rank them by different types, extracted the for sale by owner properties, and have them listed here. In this chart below, Detroit has the most for sale by owner properties in terms of volume, having 58 in total for single family and multifamily as of the date listed. The reason why I wanted to look at this, not just for one city, but for several, was so that we could start to draw conclusions. In a moment, I'm going to walk over how we can actually view each of these properties, but first, I want to get the landscape. So across the 50 cities, I was able to extract all the for sale by owner properties and then put them into a spreadsheet that I was then able to apply Python formulas to get some awesome metrics. So in total, across the 50 cities, there's about 1,000 properties that are for sale by owner. We may see this increase even more in the future as we start to see more prop tech tools come on market that help owners sell their houses on their own. Now, there will always be a need for agents, especially in the luxury space. However, if you're selling a property that maybe is very similar to others in a neighborhood, and you have the availability to use some intellectual tools, you could likely sell your house on your own. For these about 1,000 properties, almost half of them are listed as fixer-uppers. We use AI and ML to be able to tag properties based on images and descriptions. A lot of people that post their property off market, so for sale by owner by themselves without an agent, usually do so for one of two reasons. One, to have lower commission, so less money taken out of their pocket to pay an agent. And second, because they know their property probably isn't the most viable or pretty to be on market and they don't want people touring it. This could be that there are tenants inside, or maybe the property needs a lot of fixing up, so they know they're likely not going to get some bidding war if they go on market. The next metric we have here is 1% rule. So if the property could be rented for about 1% of the property price. Then on the third metric, we have number of price changes. This is exactly what I was expecting. About a third of all the for sale by owner properties have a price change. Why? Well, because they're not using an agent, the property owner may simply just be going on Zillow and taking the Zestimate and saying, here, this is the price that I want. If their property actually is a fixer-upper and needs to have work done, they're probably not going to be able to get that Zestimate value. So they put it on market and then they see that no one's really making any offers. So they start to make price changes and price drops. And then we also have mislabeled properties, which doesn't happen as often, about 3 to 5%, but still enough that's substantial. The property owner may list the property as single family, but indeed it's actually a duplex. Down below, we can now see for each of these cities, how many for sale by owner properties. The lowest one is for Boston, only one, but it looks like for each of these cities, there's at least a handful of for sale by owner properties. You could also download this here. So what if we want to look at one single city? In this case, I am looking at Miami, Florida, What this would tell us is a very similar view to the previous. Instead of seeing all those properties, just for the single city, there are 55 different properties that are for sale by owner. Now I'm going to select another city here. I'm going to select Birmingham, Alabama. Here we could see that over half of the properties are deemed to be fixer-uppers. About half meet the 1% rule, which is great. Median price is definitely more affordable, about 162K. So what if we wanted to dive in deeper? We can look at all the properties down here. This is that same data that's being extracted by code, and we could see the owner information on the far right. As well, we could see the date posted, which is sorted by most recent. We could then filter on property attributes. What I find most interesting is actually filtering on these additional options. So here we have fixer upper only, meets 1% rule, price change, and mislabeled property type. Here I'm going to select two of them. I want properties that can meet the 1% rule and have had a price drop. Price drop helps me to know that this seller is likely even more motivated because they're looking to sell their property at a lower price than originally intended to get it off their hands. So here we see of the 24 properties, when we click these two requirements, we are now left with 6. One of them being 105 Holt Ave, Birmingham, Alabama. The price estimate is pretty close to the price that's being sold at. 3-bed, 1-bath, living square feet, 1,900, which is actually pretty large. I would assume here there could be some sort of added bedroom, or maybe at some point it was 4 beds. Rent, about 1,100, so we could see how that meets the 1% rule. And high equity is true. How am I getting high equity? Well, we append our data with Real Estate API, and they have information on properties as well as owner information. If you want access for free to their data, then join us for the hackathon at the end of April 2024. 1 week of access for free to develop some awesome tools with amazing panelists coming from Amazon, Appfolio, BiggerPockets, and more that will evaluate each of these projects, and you could win a cash prize at the end. What if we wanted to dive into this property further? We could see here on Zillow that it in fact is listed as for sale by owner, and it does have a price cut. It actually has a price cut even more recently from when I originally extracted this data, which was of March 19th. And you could see that in this tab over here, March 19th. And it looks like the seller's very motivated as they have even lowered it more. We look at the price history. As of the date I pulled it, it was 90,000 and now it's 70,000, which could really signal a good deal. Great. So coming back to the app, we were able to validate some of these facts here. And what if we wanted to look at more of these addresses? We could use the selection down below and select, say, the second property here. This one looks to be a complete possible teardown. The price is way below the estimate, which would also support this. In my fact, I probably don't want to do that big of a job. So I'm going to go select the next property, which is 2109 47th Place West. I'm going to click this property, which now opens up in our coffee closers view. So in this example, say if we wanted to maybe fix and flip this property, we could look at some of the photos. It actually doesn't look to be in too bad of shape. Like the cabinets could definitely be repainted, but based upon, it looks like the tiling isn't done. So yeah, it probably is something that needs to be fixed up. So here we can estimate what that rehab cost would look like, and then see how our ARV spread would then adjust, as well as our estimated profit. If we wanted to explore this property even further, we could look below at some economic stats. So this property is sitting in a neighborhood that is a C+. We could observe median household income is relatively low to state average. However, employment rate and owner-occupied rate is pretty much in line, if not a little bit higher. We could see that within this neighborhood, there's also about 12 other listings. They're sitting on the market for quite a bit of time. And if we go further down, we could see where this property is on the neighborhood map. In terms of Birmingham, I don't know the city that well, but just from an outset, it looks like towards the top half seems to be in more C- and D neighborhoods versus the bottom half. And this property lies more in the C minus D, but is kind of close to that B plus. So what I would love to do if I was going to move forward at this stage is speak to someone who has boots on the ground. So maybe an agent, property manager, a contractor that could give me a little bit more insight about this area. Is it transforming for the better, the worse? And how does it compare to, say, that more northern part of Birmingham versus the southern tip? I'm going to look at one more example. I'm going to look now at 7112 Kimberly, and we could see that this property is also slightly undervalued, which is great. It meets the 1% rule and also has high equity. So what if we felt confident behind this property and we wanted to make an offer? We can go to Offer REI, add a new property, search the property, select it, then confirm that this is the same property by looking at photos. So in this case, let's just confirm that this is correct. It's going to look up property details and provide more information on the property. We could see who the owner is, their mailing address, the estimated market value, as well as what the latest loan was. Just like what we saw in the Streamlit app of having high equity, this seems to be true from this other data source, as there may not be a loan on the property. So if we go to create a document, we could then see information auto-populated. And just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to imagine everything is exactly as I want it. So there's the option for creative, cash. I'm just going to keep it as cash. And let's select multi-tier offer. I get a document that's auto-generated that I can actually edit. So it's not just some PDF that is stuck. I can actually make changes to it as I'd like. I auto see the owner's name, their mailing address, as well as 3 different offers. One that is actually higher than what the estimated value is, but 0% down, which could be great for me as the buyer. And this could help me get into the door to start the conversation, because the seller will see, oh, wow, this is actually more than I expected, more than estimated. This offer letter also has more information, like the amortization schedule and more branding as well. In this video, I walked you through this new fun app for sale by owner by city for 50 select cities. Now, if this is something that you want to see more of these listings and to be able to explore them, let me know so I know to continue to update the data. As well, if you want to see this cut in a different way, maybe by state or by county, I'd love to know that. As well, if there's certain metrics that you look for sale by owner, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much.